everyone, and welcome to the Doomtombpodcast. My name is Chris. I am your host, and today we have all of the band members from Stone Deaf. We go over so much stuff. We talk a little bit about their self-titled. We talk about Royal Burnout, one of their other full-length releases. And then they put out this EP of covers called the Bobby Peru EP. I don't even remember if I asked what Bobby or who Bobby Peru was, but either way, we had such a great time. We had such fun. We talk a little bit about pizza and just band stuff and touring and just a whole bunch of weirdness. It got a little strange, as it usually does, but we had one hell of a time. And there's actually a surprise guest. Didn't know the person was coming, otherwise known as the POTUS. Who knew that he was going to be in town? So let's get into it. These are the guys from Stone Deaf. We are outside of the Yucca Tap Room in Tempe, Arizona, and I am with the members of Stone Deaf. Gentlemen, can you please introduce yourselves?
I'm Dustin, play guitar and sing.
I'm Cody, I play bass and sing.
I'm Scott, I play guitar and keys.
I'm Jaron, and I play the drums.
And first off, I got to say, and I said it to you before, I was like, you guys do know you're in Arizona, right? So you don't have to wear flannel. I mean, it's about a fucking 100 out here.
Man, fashion stops for no weather condition.
Really?
We look good, and that's really all that matters. If you got to suffer through looking good, then by God, you do it. It's how you roll.
Basically, it's better to look good than to feel good.
Absolutely.
And I could say...
Absolutely. Story of my life. Story of my life.
And by the way, let me just say, I know I'm follically challenged, much like yourself, but you, what a coif. Holy shit.
It's a marvel. It's a marvel.
Yeah. Do you want to, it's funny. Are you guys familiar? You ever heard of the band Salem's Bend?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so... I was talking with them, and the drummer had quite an idea about hair care and hair products. Is there anything that you're putting in that you want to give a shout out to? Maybe a product endorsement?
I'd like to give a shout out to Moroccan cream, Moroccan oil. That's really good stuff. Matte finish.
Right.
Promenade is really great.
Right.
Finish it off with a little hairspray.
Sure.
Sitting pretty.
And it keeps it tight all day.
For the most part, wind is your worst enemy. Wind and the humidity.
Right.
Thank God we're not in this. It's a dry heat here, so that's working in my favor.
Yeah.
But when you're in the humidity, that's dangerous territory. You might have to switch up the arsenal.
Right.
But thankfully, that's not an issue for this tour.
Well, good for you, man. I mean, with someone like Dustin and myself, our biggest issues is maybe if our girlfriend uses the razor before we get to it. That's usually our big problem.
I like her to use the razor.
Oh, you do? Why? And why is that?
I mean, that's,
Oh, just basically because you want her a little bit, kept and taken care of.
Sure, man. No Sasquatch.
No, none of that. Now, I also want to say I just saw the show. I loved it. I'm going to go over some tracks. And thank you. And I want to say one thing I noticed. I can always tell when a band is rocking hard or they're putting their all in when I see the random piece of confetti that might have been on the speaker for 2 years before or whatever, and all of a sudden it just slowly cascades down.
We put that there.
You did.
I saw that and I thought they loaded party favors from the ceiling just for us, but it was pretty exciting.
Well, it is close to July 4th, so, Independence Day, where it's a celebration. And what better way to celebrate than with Stone Deaf? So
there's nothing more American.
There is not.
Today is my birthday as well.
And it's Jaron's birthday.
He does get a happy birthday, doesn't he?
He does.
Hopefully, from the guys.
Yeah? Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Hey now, while you were setting up and putting stuff back in the van, I saw a couple of you guys munching on some chow. What is some of the best road food to bring, especially like when you're in the van?
In-N-Out, for sure.
In-N-Out. Now, are you...
No, we don't have In-N-Out in Colorado, so when we come down, southern, western states, that's it. Yeah.
Now, I always forget, is it animal style or monster style?
Animal style.
Animal style, yeah, always go with that.
I'm a purist. I'm into the I'm into the regular style, not the animal style.
Right.
We're lucky enough to have had In-N-Out Burger 72 times.
Damn.
In the last 5 days. Like, every 2 seconds, Dustin's like, oh, man, I just need a little snack. Let's get a number one with no onions. And next thing you know, we're at In-N-Out.
I hope you do. Now, you do have...
We're at the hospital.
You guys have air fresheners in the van.
And we have and a defibrillator.
Just in case.
I actually came up with an invention, and you put a fabric sheet in your underwear, so when you fart, it smells really good.
It's like Downy Fresh,
I
basically.
get away with it, yep.
And it gives you a certain, dare I say it, bounce. Yes. Yes. So, what were you chewing on? Did you have some jerky over there? What were you eating?
Beef sticks.
And any specific flavor? Are you more of a spice or a teriyaki kind of guy?
Just as long as it fits in my mouth.
Wow. Well, amen to that, brother. Check you out. All right. So, now are you all based out of Colorado?
Yes.
And what part of Colorado?
Newcastle, Colorado.
Now, being in Newcastle, I apologize. I'm not familiar with the area. I've, of course, heard of Denver. What are some great places to play for this type of genre of music?
Denver. I mean,
pretty much.
Where we are.
And what's the name of the spot?
Oh, there's so many bars in Denver to play.
Give me a top few.
Let's see. Streets of London, HiDive, Larimer Lounge, Squire Lounge.
HiDive sounds very familiar. I've seen that on People's Social.
Yeah, it's Tennyson's Tap. There's so many places to go. It's just we're about 3 hours from Denver, so
right.
That's kind of the sacrifice we have to make to play shows is drive about 3 hours.
Right. Hey, don't mind that.
Yeah.
That's.
I don't know. That was an old Chevelle.
But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Where we are, we got to go in the woods or something, and I mean it's truly generator business,
right.
Like that kind of deal.
2,000 population town.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we're about as in the middle of nowhere as you get when it comes to Colorado to a certain degree. And so for us to go play a show in Denver, I mean, we've played the HiDive, Larimer, and those venues before, but it's going to take us 3.5 hours to get to that venue.
Sure.
So we're in one of those geographic unique positions where not only is Colorado just a bizarre place where it takes so long to get between venues, but
right.
It takes us a long time just to get to the main venue in our state.
Right.
So,
well, I've seen it. I saw it recently. There was a desert generator fest not too long ago that brought people. Yeah, and what's the
Stoned and Dusted?
What was the other? There's another festival. I've seen pictures of it last year, and I've seen it on social now. Can't remember it where you're basically playing in the woods. Are you familiar with that?
There's the Fire on the Mountain one up in, I think it's in Wyoming or Montana. Is that
here? Is that no?
It's a different one.
I cannot remember. If I remember it, I'll throw it in the notes and social. But I was just curious if. So do you? I know you said this was the last date of the tour, correct? And so last night you played in Vegas.
Yeah.
What was the Vegas crowd like?
They were awesome, man.
Right.
We played the Double Down, and everyone kind of... Well, I've had friends who played there and kind of gave us a warning of...
Sure.
You'll get heckled. It's a rough place. And
really?
Man, they were so accommodating and cool, and it was great.
It's great.
It's a blast.
That's great when you can go by a place and you might think one thing, and then, you just get nothing but love. That's an awesome thing. So I want to talk a little bit about what I saw tonight. When I listened to the last album, I kept hearing a tambourine, and I was like, who is somebody is somebody playing guitar while they're playing tambourine or what have you? And then I see that it's in the drum kit. Is that something that, because I see you had like two of them. Is that something that you specifically bring to the band, or?
Firstly, I just have to say that the tambourine was a given. I would not join without a tambourine.
All right.
I have one on my hi-hat, and it makes a sound as I click the hi-hat.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I have one off to the right side of my floor tom, and I just alternate to keep that rhythm on a few songs.
Brings a party, man.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It creates like this kind of wash after.
It
Yeah,
makes it danceable in a way. Sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, we add all these little bits and pieces into the recording, and it's live, it's played, as part of the drum kit or whatever. But it's people have told us like we take all these things that shouldn't fit together into heavy music, and then we put them all into the songs, and it just sounds so right. And it's a blessing that we can pull that off.
That's such an honest point, because I was going to bring that up. It's like hearing the last release, and even the covers that you chose for this 3-song EP. I mean, you really. I almost feel like you guys are taking some good chances, and it would suck if it didn't pay off. But it always looks like it pays off, and it sounds amazing.
Thank you so much.
And there's so much to it. There's a lot of levels to the song. Like you get into the genre sometimes, and some people it's like watching a movie, and exactly the full construct of the movie within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This, you don't know. It's hard to tell where you're going to go next.
Yeah,
and what
great.
The changes are just. They're just brilliant.
Well, man, thank you so much. One of the things about where we are geographically is that we don't have a clique that we're part of or anything. I mean, what things for us boil down to is, does that sound cool to you? Does that sound cool to you?
Right.
Let's do it. A lot of songs, I always describe songs as skeletons, and then, the genre is what suit you put on it, and then you start hanging and, ornaments on the thing like tambourine and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that's really what like Scott recommended the David Bowie song, and that Cracked Actor, and I was afraid to even touch that, but we just look at it like, is it cool to us? Then it's fun. And already the Dead Boys cover got some shit on YouTube, and it was like, we're not trying to top that. I mean,
who the fuck's arguing with that? Some
dude was just like, it doesn't really matter. It just somebody like, well, the original's the best, and it's like, of course it is.
Right.
But soon I'll be safety pinning baloney to my nipples too, and we'll be cool. I mean, so
that means
we're not
else
trying to
cover
fuck
something
with the
else
original.
ever. That's ridiculous.
We just do cool stuff like that. I mean, I'm a huge Rocky Erickson fan. That's where Reverberation came from.
Oh, I want to talk about that.
Man, I won't say, I won't give that I know his catalog in depth. I'm a big fan of what I know of his stuff for a while, so I love that shit. What was the first 13th Floor Elevators song that you heard? 13th Floor, it was Reverberation, really. Right. And that's the one that we ended up covering, but we ended up doing it more of a faster version. I ended up, what did I end up having? The one, I don't know, it has like, I'll go back to probably the introduction of like Bloody Hammer and stuff like that, And bands like Queen's covered that song, and that I also had a good friend who was really into him and has a way more advanced, mature understanding of music than me, and he's like, you got to check this out, and that was kind of it.
Now, with that said, did you see the documentary? What is it? Is it I think it's You're Gonna Miss Me?
Yeah, I did. And what's cool, and just to touch on that same scene, is like Daniel Johnston.
Right.
Did you see his documentary? It was part of that.
Yeah.
Man, that was
quite a while ago.
Heavy duty. Like, I like him a lot too. Like, those cool songwriters that the song is an important thing, period, you know.
And you can't believe what everybody's going through.
Right.
I mean, I could watching that Rocky Erickson doc, and just you saw it, right? So when he turns on everything in the house just so he can quiet the sound in his head, like shit.
You know, I think a lot of songwriters and artists and whatever like relate to that shit. You know?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of those tracks. We kind of talked a little bit about the 13th Floor Elevators track. Now this David Bowie track, it's kind of a deep pull. Like, what was your thought process or inspiration for trying to do that as a cover?
It just kind of spawned out of just a random string of Facebook messaging, and Dustin had messaged and said, "Well, hey, we're gonna throw out a couple tracks of covers before we go out on tour. It'd be kind of a cool thing just to do." And I jokingly, maybe 80% serious, said, as long as there's a Bowie cover on there, I really don't care what you choose to do.
There you go.
And we joked about it back and forth, and I just picked that track. It's one that I've always been a big Bowie fan. I think a lot of that for me just came from, I'm a huge Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails fan, and just knowing that Bowie was a huge inspiration on him, and just always loved that track. I loved the chorus. I thought it was great. And just thought it would be a great song to do.
And that track by Nine Inch Nails and Bowie was "I'm Afraid of Americans"?
Yeah, Afraid of Americans.
Oh, I love that. Cannot get enough of hearing that.
That when he said, "Let's do a Bowie song," I'm pretty familiar with Bowie's catalog, but that particular song, when he said it, I was like, I don't know exactly what that is, and I wanted to appease what he wanted to do too, and I was like, oh fuck, we need to listen, and I was pretty scared to listen to it, and then when I did, I was like, well, I can't pull off Bowie. Vocally is the thing that you're going to be afraid of, doing something like that, but I do think we're able to take stuff and just kind of say screw it and put it in our own style and do it our own way.
That's a part of what you have to do, make it your own.
Well, and the thing that I had kind of said to Dustin was I think if we could make the intro a little bit longer, and there's got to be I always felt every time I listened to that song, it just left you hanging, which was probably something very intentional that Bowie did.
Oh, without question.
But I wanted to hear that chorus again. The chorus needed to be there a few times, and so when Dustin came back with the arrangement that he had come up with for that, it was just, I was thrilled, because that's the version of that song that I've always wanted to hear. No disrespect to the original version of it, because that's just genius in and of itself. But to have that chorus repeating several times, that's what I wanted in that song. So that's my favorite song, not just for the band, but it's my favorite song, period, at this moment. I absolutely love it.
And with that, you also had, like you said, Sonic Reducer.
Yeah.
And even when I was listening to your previous full length release, I kind of felt a little bit of a punk influence, and I could even see it in your style of playing.
Right.
Not every song, but some of the songs.
Yeah.
I could see that. Why did you choose Sonic Reducer?
I mean, why not? Really, it's such a cool thing, but it's that song in and of itself is almost its own institution. I used to play punk, a lot of punk rock and tour around. And so, I grew up a lot on, the things that I always loved about punk rock was, Mommy's Little Monster and bands like Social D, of course. And then TSOL. Bands that, if you really listen to that stuff, it's all verse, chorus, great hooks.
Right.
That's what I want to write. Mm-hmm. But I don't want, we're not trying to be a punk rock band. It's just that influence of, all that shit was so good, man. And not necessarily the aggressive stuff, which I like that too, but I always really dug, Social D and things like that. And I was like, man, this shit has attitude, but it's really catchy and almost poppy. You can say poppy without that being a sin,
Sure.
It's it's a hook and it's catchy, and I just loved that shit. So that was a lot of influence when I was kind of learning to write songs and stuff. And
how much do you know that? Do you know more of their catalog with Dead Boys, right?
Yeah, I mean, see, that's a thing. Like, there's bands like that Sonic Reducer's a song everyone knows,
right?
You know, and then for a lot of people, probably myself included, it doesn't go super deep into their catalog after that. You know, I don't know if that's douchey or not or whatever.
No,
but, you know, like
no, not at all.
It's,
come on,
it's just that song that's like, oh shit, that's so great. I'm a fan of songs, man. Like, and I can hear any style of song and be like, that's fucking great. You know, like. It's funny because, like, last year I bought a Bruno Mars CD. I didn't know shit about that dude.
Right.
And I kept hearing those songs, and I'm like, that guy knows how to write songs, man.
Which album did you pick up?
It was,
There's a 24 Karat?
Yeah, dude.
All right.
That shit's good, man.
You know,
like,
I no shame in saying that I'm a Bruno Mars fan as well.
Yeah,
but,
hell no.
You know,
I'll never have shame for anything I like, you know? Like
the two albums before, I thought were fantastic. This one I liked. You can obviously tell heavy Michael Jackson influence.
That's what I like about it.
Right.
I mean, a friend of mine loaned me Thriller on vinyl recently, and I've never listened to it like that.
Right.
Maybe when I was 6 or something. But I mean, putting that on now and like really appreciating what the hell that is. Did you ever see the Michael Jackson documentary?
This is it?
I don't know what it's called, but it was right before his last tour.
Yes.
Man,
phenomenal.
Every musician should like watch that guy on that documentary, and you can see that man is made of rhythm.
Yeah.
That man is made of groove. Like, you watch it and you're like, when he's trying to explain to his musicians how to play stuff,
right?
He's just, it's like he's using his whole body to emulate what he needs done. And that's, man, I was like, everybody always likes Michael Jackson, but like, when I saw that, I really had a whole different appreciation for that dude.
Yeah, and that was a lifelong effort. You know, it's not like he started, you know, he got an easy, maybe 15-year jump on everybody else.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, when you're like, 5 years old and dancing and, headlining and...
But that's music in your blood. You know what I mean? Like, nowadays Nowadays we have scenes,
right?
And you have to sort of prescribe or it's probably prescribed, and you get your subscription.
Yeah, there's a little prescribing and a little
You have to kind of make sure that you fit into whatever. I mean, that's always been a thing.
Right.
Punk rock is like that. Like, that's one of the things that kind of got me out of punk rock was how cliquey and judgy it became. You know, like.
Yep.
And I've been saying this on this tour, like, just it's been so different because we played. Have you ever heard of like Atala, the band?
Yeah.
Kyle Stratton. Or Stratton. Man, we played in 29 Palms with them, and I'm Captain Tangent, so I'm gonna wrap around here. But you show up and they're shaking your hand. They're like, it's so fucking great to have you here.
Right.
And then Pleasure Burn was another band we played with in LA that was like the same way. You know? I mean, so these people want to make friends and have fun and shit like that. And like punk rock was always so like, it was like two dogs staring at each other when you'd show up to play. And nobody, you had to like, earn the respect in a different way instead of just like, hey, let's be friends.
Right.
But sometimes that's just a pain in the ass, It's like...
Well, I've noticed it a lot in this scene where everybody just seems so happy to see each other.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Ingratiate and, not like, oh, I hope you fucking fail and I hope you, pop some strings on stage. It's more like, I hope you have the best show so you can compliment us.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned Salem's Bend earlier. I mean, we played with those guys in Denver when they were passing through, and then when we were in L.A., like, Bobby came down and checked out the show in L.A., and there's a lot of support within some of those guys, and it's just awesome to see that people are willing to go out and support other individuals, and there's just... Yeah, they're looking out for each other, and they just want to hear good music and support each other.
There's nothing better to me to when I see, a show like this, and I see the bands before in the front row or banging their
and
heads
that's
or whatever.
Bobby, man.
Yeah.
Like that dude, like we just met him recently, but it was like, that guy just, you watch him like getting into music, and that kid's a fan of music, man. Like, and for us, like playing, what I think is that I want every band that we play with to be great, so that you have an entire night of music that everybody's like, shit, we had a good time. All those bands were really good. And it was fun. And that's how you get camaraderie, and you meet people and you make friends and shit. It's not, we all played music because we didn't necessarily, you don't want, it's not a sports team, like, which, hey man, I love football, but it's like, the thing is that it's not something that's like, let's compete.
Sure.
It's something that's like, I want to see you guys kick ass.
And I think it also raises everybody up.
Absolutely.
But I stole, honestly, God, I stole this from Jamie Joseph from Hate Brady has a podcast. It's High Tide Raises All Ships. Yeah. And, I mean, it can't be a truer statement. Yeah. So, Royal Burnout. If you don't mind, I'd like to go over a few tracks. And, it doesn't have to be like a lengthy thing, but, can you give me like maybe a sentence or two about each track? And some of them I did hear tonight, Spitshine. Can anybody tell me anything about Spitshine, or maybe even like the recording process?
Yeah, so one of the things with explain, people want to know what songs are about, but on the other hand, I kind of like sometimes they're just so fucking personal. It sounds silly because we all have the same issues. It's like life, love, death, whatever, and so sometimes I like for people to be able to just put their own thing to it, and you know what, I gotta admit, I didn't quite get that starting out the podcast, because I want to really get in track by track, and now I'm finding that some bands, they're just like, well, I want you to decide. Yeah,
but I'm thinking more in the lines of like the instrumentation, because I do want to ask you all about your equipment, especially that rig you had, man. That thing looked fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that with that outer shell.
Yeah.
That he's got. What is that? What brand is that?
Are you talking about the amp or the cabinet? The amp. Oh, it's SVT 7.
And then your cab.
And then the cab, an SWR fridge 8x10 cab. Goliath. It's pretty old, but it's huge, it's fucking heavy, and it sounds heavy.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you put through it, it's gonna sound big,
And what kind of bass are you playing?
Tonight I was playing a Fender jazz bass. I usually play a P bass a lot too.
Right.
So
does it change for when you're on tour to when you're in studio?
For Royal Burnout, I think I used, for the most part, the jazz bass I was playing tonight.
Right.
It's all what sounds good.
Okay.
I think what was used on the Bobby Peru EP was like a Univox.
Yeah.
It's early 70s Univox. It's an early 70s Univox high flyer bass. Mm-hmm. It's kind of it's like a secret sound. It's cool. I got the thing 15 years ago maybe, and I don't think the strings have ever been changed on it or anything.
Whoa.
And that's not how we treat our regular shit, but that thing just sounds, it's almost it's like this little museum piece.
Do you feel it got worn in? Like it's like you don't want to change anything about it now?
Well, I think the strings are so rotten. It just is real. It's real round and dead, not dead sounding, but it's like it's just sort of
Dead sounding.
It is dead sounding, I guess. It ain't got no zing.
It ain't got no zing, kid. Well, I'm gonna go back, and I understand if you don't want to tell me, what the tracks are. I just want to talk about.
I can somewhat.
One track that I was wanting to hear tonight, and that was the Lefty Request.
Yeah.
And you said something on stage, which I didn't even make a connection.
Oh, yeah. I tend to make the titles where they have no connection to what the song's about.
Right.
Like, that's probably a grunge era move of, Nirvana or something. But,
sure.
There would always be stuff that was like... I really like song titles and shit like that.
Sure.
When that's kind of a lot... back in the day, that was how you picked out music. You turned it over. You looked at if you were grabbing a record or CD or whatever, you'd look at the titles, and if the titles were intriguing. So,
what do you think about that, man? Like, if I look outside, if we go right across the street, there's probably one of the best record stores in the state,
there?
Zia Records.
Oh yeah, man! I go to Zia
awesome.
in Vegas whenever I'm there. Yeah,
and
I love it.
It's such a dying thing. I came from Florida. We barely had anything anymore, and to come out here and to see something like that, it's just puts a big smile on my face because I reveled in that as a kid. I wasn't a sports guy. I didn't learn how to throw a football till I was in my 20s and didn't care.
This is cool because last night I stood out and had a conversation with a couple after we had played, and we got on this topic, and the girl was saying, she was like, I used to not eat lunch and save my lunch money, and she was like, I would, at the end of the week, I'd have enough to go buy a CD. And she was like, and then when you did that, you were emotionally invested in that, and you were connected to having it. And man, I remember rolling pennies and shit to buy like new records, and it really was like it's creating a disconnect from music, I think. But
you mean, like, are you referring to like the downloads
digital
or the
stuff?
digital
I mean,
stuff?
but we all do it. It's cool. Like I miss that. Like, I would go to Vegas and like there was a Virgin Mega store there or something, which actually had a pretty decent selection. But it's always kind of one of those things. I just wander over there, and I mean, aside from a million other record stores, but like just browsing and finding something that
doesn't that feel great when you gotta find?
Yeah.
When there's like going back to like my Nine Inch Nails kick, because I'm such a huge Nine Inch Nails fan, but I'll never forget when I was in high school and The Fragile came out, and you'd waited years for The Fragile to come out, and I skipped school, showed up at the record store, and like just waited for an hour just to like, and I didn't need to wait for an hour in our town because no one else was going to be there to get it. But I still did that because it was an event. Like going to get a CD, like the physical copy of something, was a big event. And so like you showed up early, you go in there, and you had that tangible thing. And there's something emotional about that isn't, and I download stuff, but it's just not the same as going out and getting that physical copy and sitting down and listening to it and like treating the whole thing as a piece of art and like reading through the lyrics and looking through the artwork, and it was an experience, and that's something that I feel is missed a little bit with the digital download age.
You should get, like, Cody's younger. Like, get his perception on.
We're the elder statesmen of the band.
The elder statesmen, yes.
He came up kind of probably more in the download age, but he also started getting into vinyl and shit like that.
So talk about it. Like, did you feel a difference? Because if you were downloading and doing digital, and now you've got maybe a little bit of an LP collection, what does that do for you emotionally?
So, for me, it's something where I look at it this way: downloads, make everything so accessible, which is awesome, because if you see something, you can listen to it right away and you like it, and that's a good thing. But it also takes the emotion and like it takes everybody's hard work out of it. Is the bad thing, and you can skip through songs and you don't really get the whole vibe that somebody put in their time in, and you don't see that.
Right.
But, it's in the past 5 or 6 years I started, collecting vinyl because I've been into music my whole life, and I never had a record player. My dad had boxes of vinyl, but never a way to play it or anything. And, I grew up, my dad had a closet full of CDs, and I didn't know any of them. I hadn't heard any of it. You know what I mean?
Right. What did he like to jam out to?
Van Halen, Led Zeppelin.
All right.
REO Speedwagon. Like,
it's good stuff.
What's funny is you were talking, Jaron, recently about like your dad's record collection. Like, did that kind of get you into shit? I mean, like.
My dad had a big vinyl collection, and same thing as Cody. Cody said we never had a record player around for a long time. and we just recently started going through all that, me and my dad, and it's a nice bonding experience. And
and that's like what a lot of people did. They were like, well, I dug through my parents' record collection. That's an age-old story. So.
Yeah, going back to that, I mean, I always had been into music, and that's why I started playing guitar. And, you know, probably in middle school is when I really started to, like, I would buy CDs or I would have my dad buy me CDs.
Sure, why not?
Like, that says heavy metal. Are you sure you want that? I'm like, yeah, why not? And then I would listen to them, and, you know, and that's at the point that iPods started coming around, and then people started music on MP3 players, and then all of a sudden CDs aren't that popular anymore. And then, you know, I start going back to vinyl, and just it's an experience sitting down and listening to a whole album, whether it's on a CD or, you know, how you do it. But it's a different experience having a tangible object that you sit down and you have to get up and go turn it over, and it means something different.
People crafted it's like crafting records from start to finish. It's so different. You know, if you listen to a lot of Led Zeppelin stuff, you can tell that they planned out the peaks and the valleys of the record.
I've mentioned that so many different times when I hear some bands, and I do like listening to it all. I don't like skipping shit. I like to hear it all as the band wanted it to be heard. That way, and I would say 9 times out of 10, it's a roller coaster. I'm coming up here.
Dude, I labor over sequence.
You
know, it's like this thing has to go up and down, and we do that with our set too, you know.
Absolutely. So what was the, when you started getting back into vinyl, what was like some of the first pieces that you got?
Well, I don't really remember what the first album I got was, but I'm pretty sure, like,
came over with Houses of the Holy or something like that.
Houses of the Holy.
I wanted a record player, and I came over with Houses of the Holy or something like that, and it was something my dad had, because he had, you know, every Led Zeppelin album, Van Halen, you know, this and that, and I was like, oh, I want to listen to this somehow, and I would bring it over to his house and listen to it. But I think when I started looking for stuff, I was looking for all the Queens of the Stone Age album, because
Queens of Stone Age,
that's at the point that I was like getting into this genre and being like, oh, this is so good, and
now have any of you ever heard of Greta Van Fleet?
Yeah.
What do you think? Oh, hold on a second, we gotta. There you go, nice asshole, real
America!
one. Yeah, America. All right, sorry about that. Go ahead.
I think it's cool. You know, I think that they're kids and they're doing their shit and it's tight, but I think the praise from so without discrediting them, the thing, like, if you're looking on YouTube, or I've even had like older friends post stuff and they're like, oh my God, these kids, it's a new Led Zeppelin, and for me, I think in a way I like a little more weathered people, and I like for people. It
does look weird to see him singing,
but I like for people who've gone, like, it's a lot the same as 8-year-old plays Eruption. You know, and it's
or when I see a 6-year-old play a Tool track with Danny Carey.
And it's killer. It's awesome. Like, it's great, especially if you're the parent or whatever. You know, it's like, damn, that's amazing. But the shit that Keith Richards can talk about, you know, that's what I want, is somebody who's like a fucking encyclopedia of shit.
He's probably forgotten more than we'll ever know.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. So that's kind of off that a little bit. I think what they're doing is super cool. I'm curious who's like, you know, there's got to be somebody who's like, come on, dudes, you're doing this. You know, and then it comes out and it's so great.
Right.
But it's more the people who comment on it and they're like, oh my God, they're the next Led Zeppelin. It's like, slow down a little bit. Like, they're great, but let's give them time. Let's not like ruin what. That's another thing, is those kids have the potential to be like fucking amazing. So it's like, let's not go there yet. Let's let them develop instead of everybody just exploiting them and making it.
Well, if you want to go back a little bit, and I know sometimes like reporters, reviewers, whatever, and people in the music industry, they're for some reason everyone's got a hard on for Led Zeppelin. And you know, back when I was younger, believe it or not, they said Def Leppard, the new Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
No, they're not new. No. Then it was like, I don't know if anybody remembers this band Kingdom Come.
Oh yeah.
The next Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Right.
There's one. And you can have something that might sound a little like it.
Sure.
But, you know, come on. Make it your own.
They're really kind of being compared to the, like Led Zeppelin 1, 2
era.
But
they got that. They got a huge groove. It's just...
They really do.
I mean, personally, it sounds a little too much. Like, it's like almost like a light version. And there's... You know, like when listening to an album or something like that, there was that boom, bah, doom, that fat, thick, in the pocket groove that like Bonham had. That like, can you get that? Can you play it? What did he do? Didn't he play like
hashtag
at the
groove.
top? Yeah, hashtag groove. Didn't he play like at the top of a staircase and they mic'd it at the bottom?
Yeah, I mean,
just so they could get that sound.
Yeah, I mean that's like some castle, blah blah blah. Like that's cool stuff, but that shit would have sounded good no matter where he played.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, I think they're cool. I just sometimes I'm like, let's see those kids when they're 25 after a few breakups and somebody's hooked on some shit. Like,
maybe they'll come out with something.
Not that I want
harder.
a negative thing to happen, but like, you know, like they're talented, so like get some life experience. And
you got to live a little.
Yeah.
You got to feel it. You know, I just want to switch gears a little bit. I'd like to go around because I know we're running a little past. I just want to talk a little bit about your gear, and then I had a few more questions. I saw you playing something very interesting. I know it was like a synth or something, and then you had something above, and then you had this other piece that you were holding in your hand.
Oh yes.
What the fuck is all this? What is this?
Space machine.
Yeah.
Well,
Spaceman Spiff over here with the perfect hair.
In my spare time, I travel through time.
Oh, good.
I go to the future and bring back random instruments. Now, it's an EBO. The EBO is what you're talking about.
Right.
So the EBO is what's, and in particular on the new album, like a lot of on the choruses and things where you're hearing that sustain. That's gonna be EBO. And that's what I'm playing.
And that's one of the things that I was saying earlier about taking a fucking chance. And I've yet to see that, and I thought that brought such a great element that just, it's another thing that as yourselves as a band, as Stone Deaf as a band, it sets you apart from other bands. And I thought that was a very welcome change.
Thank you.
We're not afraid to throw a fucking hand clap.
Hey, and why not?
Yeah.
Or a tambourine.
Yeah.
You never know. So what type of guitar are you playing?
Well, tonight I played a custom Gibson V, and usually I play a Gibson Tribute, Gold Top.
And what about your rig?
The rig is a Orange 412, and then a Marshall DSL 100 head.
Right, and by the way, as I saw you guys loading out, nice covers, by the way. I usually don't see a lot of bands using the covers, which I would highly suggest it. If you can, buy one, nick one, or at least, make one. Because it's expensive shit.
Well, there's kind of a punk rockness to letting your shit get all beat up, but you know. But after you paid some. After you. Well, like
you want to baby it a little bit. Come on.
I build my cabinets like.
Do you?
Guitar, yeah. So, and it's not hard. Like people can do it. I'm always fucking around. Like I gotta make pedals or build cabinets or whatever.
Right.
I've tried making guitars to no avail, but.
Did you make your cabinet?
Yeah, the cabinet I played tonight I made.
Oh, fantastic.
And some fucker ripped it who was helping us. But I think
one of the more scary moments I've had in this band was when we were unloading for a show, and I noticed that the bottom of his cab had just been ripped to shit. And I walked back to the van, and I think I said to Cody's like, something really bad happened, and we're gonna have to make Jaron tell him because this isn't positive. It was a terrifying experience, but he handled it well. We only got 17 lashings each with the belt.
Oh, 17!
I
Wow.
asked for more though.
And I wouldn't be surprised. Now, and speaking of yourself, what kind of kit are you playing?
I have a custom Ludwig, and I play
Red Sparkle.
Yeah, red sparkle. I even have a red sparkle pork pie chair and
stool.
It's a stool.
That's a stool, buddy.
Don't let anybody ever push in your stool.
Just want to set. I always clean it out before they're getting ready to push in.
Oh, okay, good.
Well,
No mud. Bravo.
No,
Bravo.
but I've got dark K cymbals, and I actually one of my buddies got me a really good deal on that set, so I'm pretty fortunate.
Cool.
yeah, it's nice.
All right, guys.
Shout out to my buddy Shane. He got me that set.
Does anybody here have any endorsements?
Yeah,
If you want to give a shout out.
Yeah, Black Arts Toneworks for sure. Those
Right.
guys that we've recently hung out with Mark, who owns a company, and just coolest fucking dude.
Cool.
We had an amazing fucking time. We made him pizza. I own a pizza restaurant, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right. So,
we didn't even touch on that.
yeah, hold on a
actually.
second. Let's simmer down a little second here. Let's take this down a notch. Pizza.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I came from New York. All right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's fucking
This
right.
is Chicago pizza.
Oh, fuck that noise. So no, it's all good.
Yeah.
But okay, so I was
That's what
in
you
New York.
tell all the
I had
pizza guys. You know how that makes me feel.
I had this pizza that I have yet to see duplicated anywhere else but New York.
Mm-hmm.
Breadcrumb Pizza.
Nah, I don't know anything about that.
It's it's almost like a Sicilian, thick.
Wow.
And then they coat it with extra cheese, and then there's they coat it with breadcrumbs on the top, and I think some more other kind of special, funky deliciousness.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't even care anymore. All I
Right.
know is I can't find it anywhere but in New York, and I will be going up there soon to enjoy that, and I might have to fly some home.
Well, we do. So I've had my restaurant for quite a while. It's got a kind of a mini Pappy and Harriet's vibe. Are you familiar with that place?
No.
Pappy and Harriet's in Joshua Tree.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. So, it's like pinball beer. We make everything fresh every day.
Right.
Big ass patio. We're trying to get to a point where, we're right on I-70 in Western Colorado.
Okay.
I want to eventually do music there. I'm building a stage and fire pit, and our town's really small, so it's hard to be super loud, but trying to get bands to stop in, meet us, whatever.
You're going to have to do a Wayne's World, man. Build it and they will come.
Yeah, exactly. But it's
So
good stuff.
let me ask you a few questions about this. What is the most popular pie and why?
The triple bypass, because it's covered with meat.
God damn.
Yeah.
Cover anything with meat and it's got to be good.
Yeah, exactly.
And so since you're in Colorado, will there ever be any infusion pies? You know what I'm talking about?
Define infusion.
Okay, so let's say this.
Did you say confusion?
So let's figure this out. So we can make a fine, delicious cannabis oil. And
I got you.
And then we
Some
can have a
weed
nice
pies,
pesto
man.
pie with that oil. It'd be delicious.
Yeah.
Is that something? I don't even.
No.
I don't even know. Can you legally do that? I don't even know.
Not yet.
Or do you
but
have
you'll
to
be
get a
able
card
to.
or something? Or
You know what's funny is a lot of people we're all from Colorado, and it was when weed got legalized. It was every dipshit from everywhere was coming there, and it was
of course.
Can you guys not get weed in your own state? There's never a problem getting weed anywhere. And
There's something about the idea where it's legal. I can buy it without having to be sneaky about it or.
I'll retract the dipshit thing. Not everybody who does that, of course. We ended up with so many transplants who just moved there for weed, and
Right.
It was it was weird, man, because like it just, the lifestyle of it got like kind of like gross and a lot of locals bitched about that. It was like, this is like just, not bitching about the legality of it. It should be legal. It's ridiculous. It's not. But
absolutely.
Like the thing is that it just kind of became this thing where everyone, I guess in Colorado we always had so much weed anyway. It was like people just, it was never exciting to locals.
So are there places that do that? I'm not talking about like a dispensary per se, but like
as
a place
as
that, like gastronomy, like where they're actually infusing it, they're cooking.
Yeah, New Belgium's doing that actually, which is nuts. Like, I'll let this guy take over the.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, no, there's all sorts of, like, they're using weed with infusion beers, but then there's several restaurants that specialize along those lines.
Okay.
And there's not a ton, but
not food.
I mean, there's like edibles and stuff like that.
But right.
There are some that will use like what you're talking about, like with oils and stuff like that. Yeah.
Or a tincture or something like that.
CBD, or is it actually like THC?
Both. It's both.
Okay, so what was something?
The president now speaking.
That was a good impression on stage. I heard before. Yeah.
I will give the rest of the interview. These guys are not allowed to talk. From now on, everything comes directly from the Oval Office.
Are you going to make Stone deaf again?
They're making music great again, my friend. I don't like being misquoted. That's fake news. It's fake news.
What was one pizza that was on the menu that you thought was going to be a killer? It was going to crush, and it just didn't do what you wanted to.
I mean, none of them. Like, it's funny to say that. Like, we've been there over 15 years now,
right?
And it's insanely popular, and we have a huge, like, loyal following of people, and it's because we do everything fresh every day, like
scratch made.
We think of even the band, like, we're working class, man. Like, we work hard at everything that we do, and that's how we run the pizza place. That's how we do the band. That's everything. So I mean, but yeah, that's kind of going off. But let me think of one that's maybe not as popular. Cody actually works there too. So
okay. Well, how about this? While you're thinking, because it seems to go 50-50 on the podcast. Hawaiian pie, yes or no?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Hell yes. We're from Colorado.
Right.
Why not?
Go ahead.
Put pineapple all over that shit.
I'm going to have to trump all y'all and say no. No, Hawaiian pie is disgusting.
Yeah, well, this is 3 versus 1. So.
Trump, President, would you like to check in on what is a pineapple pie for you?
Pineapple pie is fantastic. It's tremendous. It's the most amazing thing I've ever had. Listen, let me tell you something about pineapple pie. Pineapple pie, 15 trillion billion people. That's how many people vote for pineapple pie.
Wow.
Now, I know you're into fake news because you're a member of the media.
Yeah.
But that's not fake news. It's not fake news. Our plan, what we're going to do, heart of the country, okay? Follow me. I know it's very difficult.
I'm listening.
Heart of the country, we're going to build pineapple groves.
Pineapple groves.
Scientists have told me that's the thing. We're going to build pineapple groves and build a wall around the pineapples just to make pineapple pizza. It's amazing. Jaron, coincidentally, is not invited.
Of course not. Why would he be? Yeah.
He's strange. He eats too much candy. And now, I don't care for it.
Pardon me. I apologize for interrupting, sir, but I have heard that Bob Dole actually created Dole Pineapple. Is there any truth in that?
He's old. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
He's an old person.
Aren't you old too? Bob Dole's got better hair.
That's not true. That's fake news. I have been dipped in formaldehyde since the time I was 13. Okay, so that keeps my gems very, very crisp, very clean. I'm fine. Bob Dole's old. We don't care about him. We don't care about him at all. He's what made America. America was not fantastic when Bob Dole was part of things. We're making America great again.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate your time. Wow, that was.
I haven't.
The president, ladies and gentlemen, the president making an appearance. Yeah. Fantastic.
I didn't enjoy this one bit, just so you know. Didn't enjoy one bit. I don't like the media.
All right, fine. All right, we'll move on then. Fine, I get it. So there's going to be a movie that's coming out, and the name of it is going to be Stoned and Deaf. Ooh. The Stone Deaf story.
Sweet.
Let's go around. Who is going to play you? Which actor or actress? No judgment.
I don't get some time to think.
You can have as much time as you want.
There needs to be a lot of wait time for this.
Okay, so
that's a teacher term for.
Why don't you have
yes.
each other say who would do it?
Hey.
That's, I say myself.
Yeah, we could each go. We could say ourselves or go around and share, and then we could have an argument about it. It'd be really great. It'd be fantastic banter.
How about if
He doesn't get to do me.
No, Jaron doesn't get to do anyone. He just needs to.
I'm just saying I would choose somebody for myself that I probably none of them would agree with.
Harry Potter.
That's
mean
Daniel
Daniel
Radcliffe.
Radcliffe?
Jesus Christ.
Harry Potter. Okay.
Dan, you're.
No, I was choosing Harry Potter.
You're going to be. I don't know. You got to.
Okay.
Can we get a stick?
We need a talking
like a
stick.
wand?
That's good. Yeah, so
You're gonna pick like fucking Vince.
I'm just gonna. Ooh, that's good. I hadn't thought about that, but that's really good.
Bald too.
Yeah. Okay, we'll let Cody go.
And if you haven't seen him, he is fucking jacked. Just solid. You know, it's weird because
this guy is triple
Vin Diesel,
X.
not Dustin.
No, I'm talking about Dustin because like it was weird. You know, when I saw Dustin came
Movies
in,
on
there was
my
this woman that was talking. I don't know if you saw it, and she was asking him if I know it's embarrassing, but she was asking him if he's going to have to go to the vet because
here we go.
those pythons are sick, man. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead.
The movie subject or actors is a hard one for me because we're usually sitting around in the van going somewhere and everybody's quoting shit that I don't know.
Oh, okay. So you're
No actor like who would play you?
who would play you?
Who would play me? I don't know.
Somebody want to. We had it.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. All right.
Pretty good.
Maybe a 40-year-old virgin waxing incident. You never know.
I don't know the comedy of Steve Carell for sure.
Yeah. Okay,
he's a funny guy.
Steve Carell.
Funny,
yeah.
All right, all right. So, how about if you picked
Trump.
Mr.
Who would play Cody?
Gonna leave him to pick me.
No, this is perfect. I just need to have some time to think about it. Do you know who would play Dustin?
Jason Statham.
All right, that's actually
Good pull. Yeah. All right, we can work with that. Now I have one for you.
Lord help me. Okay.
And I fucked if I can remember his name right now. Help me out.
Marty McFly. Michael J. Fox. After he's had Parkinson's for a while, right? Yeah, you.
That sounds kind of shaky to me. I don't know. No, what about what's the guy, the lead that's in Community? He did the soup.
Oh, Joel McHale.
You know who the fuck he is? Is the guy from Horrible Bosses. What's that guy's name?
Charlie on Sunnyfield. Yes.
Yes. And
That's
that guy.
Bravo.
Even their sense of humor.
Yeah.
Because he's
Manic.
one of the funnier people in the van when he gets lit up. You know, like
Just takes a little while.
Yeah.
Get turned.
gotta get that crank going.
Well, gentlemen, listen. I appreciate your time. I know it's getting late. I sincerely appreciate all the time you've given me. Right at the end of this fantastic tour, fantastic night out there, throngs of people, great show. I wish you much success.
And Cody is Steve Buscemi. And we're done.
And we're done. That's it. Good night. Later. Like I said before, the guys in Stone Deaf put out this free download on Bandcamp called the Bobby Peru EP. And one of the tracks on it was from a band called the Dead Boys. Check this track out. This is Sonic Reducer. Next up is a track that was just released by a band called Kingnomad, all one word. And they put out this track. Let's check this out right now. This is called Doers Hollow. A huge thanks to all the guys in Stone Deaf. Thank you so much for the interview. Loved it. Enjoyed meeting you. Can't wait to see you guys again. If I'm ever in Colorado, as well as any other touring bands in Colorado or elsewhere, go check out Hogback Pizza. They got to have some great stuff. And apparently they have a Hawaiian pie. I'm sure they have other ones that'll suit your needs or your tastes. I can't wait to see what they got. Who doesn't like pizza? Everyone loves it. So go by, check them out. Say hello to Dust and tell him I sent you. So how can you reach us? It's doomtombpodcast@gmail.com. We're also on iTunes. We're all over social media, on Instagram, Facebook, what have you. We're also on the TuneIn app. I'm looking forward to being on another app where I'm not going to put the music on. It's just going to be the straight interview. That will be coming up soon. So until that time, until the next time, the in-between time, enjoy yourselves. Keep going to the shows. Buy some band merch every once in a while. And don't forget to stay heavy.